in this debate on the Hill over cutting this $40 million out of food stamps, members of Congress were quoting Matthew 25, both a reason, Matthew 25, which says, what you did to the least of these, you did to me. I'm paraphrasing. You could quote it exactly, I'm sure. But some members who, Juan Vargas from California, who opposed the cuts, right? He quoted Matthew 25 and said, I'm a Christian. This chapter talks about how you treat the least among us. I could not support this. But Reverend Stephen Fincher from Tennessee said, oh no, he reads Matthew 25 and says, what this means is the poor will always be with us. So therefore, what the hell, we don't have to do anything about it. What's the correct reading of Matthew 25?
Matthew 25 was my conversion text. It's the text that brought me to Jesus Christ. It's my conversion text. It says, I was hungry, I was thirsty, I was a stranger, immigrant. I was naked, I was sick, I was in prison. You didn't come to me. And all the people said, Lord, when do we see you hungry and thirsty and naked, stranger, sick, and in prison? He said, as you've done to the least of these, you've done to me, which means how we treat 11 million undocumented people, how we treat those who are hungry, how we treat those who are poor is how we treat Christ himself. That's what that means. There's another text, this congressman's favorite text, I'm sure, about the poor. He's quoting, the poor you will always have with you. He's even missing that text. The text comes from Mark, not Matthew, and it's where Jesus is with Lazarus, a leper, for dinner with his disciples. A woman wants to worship him with some expensive oil. The disciples complain, and he says, the text says, you will always be with the poor. What he's saying is, you're my disciples. Look where we are tonight. Look who we're always with. You will always be with the poor, so let this woman worship. Don't be so politically correct, he's saying, right? But when we're not with the poor, when we distance ourselves from the poor, we get the text wrong. And Mr. Fincher, as far as I've been told, has gotten $8.5 million in agricultural subsidies from a government that he says he hates as a Tea Partier. Stephen Fincher, you are a hypocrite, and you are an embarrassment to me as a Christian for being a Christian and being such a hypocrite when it comes to you're taking government money when you don't need it, and you're taking food away from hungry kids. He is a hypocrite and should be named as such. To cut food stamps, to cut from hungry people is unchristian and un-Jewish. And those members of Congress who say they're people of faith should say that.